Personal story segment tonight, legendary broadcaster Ted Koppel, not a big fan of cable news. In fact, he thinks it has harmed journalism in America. Writing in the Washington Post, Koppel said, quote, "The commercial success of both Fox News and MSNBC is a source of nonpartisan sadness for me. While I can appreciate the financial logic of drowning television viewers in a flood of opinions designed to confirm their own biases, the trend is not good for the Republic," unquote. The big mistake Mr. Koppel is making is putting me, your humble correspondent, in that category of speaking to the choir. I don't, you know it. So I had to convince Mr. Koppel of that. I spoke with him a couple of weeks ago. So why don't you define for the vast factor audience your beef with me and Fox News? What's your beef?
I don't have a beef with you. I really don't. Let me modify that a little bit. I think there are times when you are, what's the phrase you like so much? A bold and
fresh piece
yeah,
of humanity.
Sometimes a little too bold, sometimes a little too fresh, sometimes a little too intolerant of allowing people to complete an answer.
Does that offend you?
Does it offend me? It offends me when you're rude. It offends me when you ride over people, which you have a tendency to do.
But I only do it when they filibuster or when they lie, as Barney Frank did that one time. Yeah. I don't do it when somebody is sincerely trying to answer my question. It's not like it used to be.
15 years ago, there was a crying need for a network that focused more on conservative issues. Fox has done that. MSNBC has now come along and tried to provide, not because it saw the need for an ideological balance, but because it saw the balance sheet of Fox News.
Their butt kicked. But there's a big difference between Fox News and MSNBC. Do you know what that difference is?
Tell me.
No, but do you know what it is?
I'm asking you, what do you think it is?
So you concede you don't know what it is?
I don't know what it is, no.
We actually do hard news here from 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
8 hours of hard news,
right.
All right? MSNBC doesn't do 1 hour of hard news. It's all, let's push the liberal democratic agenda from sign on to sign off. So this is a news agency here, Fox News.
I don't think anyone is going to be confused as to the ideological belief of most of the people who appear on Fox.
I think that's grossly unfair to the hard news reporters, okay? If you look at our bureau system and the people we have reporting, the network is more traditional, I think that's a fairer term, than the other network news. And they give weight to people, their commentators, and the people that they hire. Now, if you look at all of the journalists, and we can tick them down if you want, all right? Rather, Brokaw, Cronkite, they're all left-wing guys, all of them, and you know that.
Hold on. I would argue that back in the day, you didn't know what Cronkite was.
If you were in Iowa, you didn't know, but if you were working at CBS News, you damn well knew, because I worked there.
You may have known what he was off camera, but you didn't know what he was on camera.
But decisions were made about personnel, story coverage, and point of view by Cronkite, Brokaw, and Rather,
Bill,
who were committed left-wingers.
And Koppel, you might as well add him
You weren't,
into the
you know,
mix.
I think you were just in a daze all the time. I don't think you really interfered that much. I was at ABC and I heard the scuttlebutt about you. You weren't a big interferer. You weren't. And Jennings wasn't either. Jennings didn't like all that ideology. He didn't.
Yeah, you know.
That's why I didn't bring his name up.
I'd rather you criticize me because your compliments are more damaging and more devastating.
Well, I got to tell the truth, Koppel. Come on.
I mean, Bill, what is it you think that I have said about the network or written about the network?
You think that we've corrupted the sanctity of fair news coverage?
I think...
That's what I think.
I think that ideological coverage of the news, be it of the right or be it of the left, has created a political reality in this country which is bad for America. I think it's made it difficult, if not impossible, for decent men and women in Congress, on Capitol Hill, to reach across the aisle and find compromise. And if we can't do that, Bill, we're going to be in the, and we have been, I think, for the last few years, in a terrible situation in this country where politically we can't make deals anymore.
So you're blaming me and the Fox News Channel for the deterioration of Congress. If they don't have enough guts to do what's best for the country by compromising, all right, they don't deserve to be there. You can't be on top for as long as the Fox News Channel has been on top and sell a product that's inferior or dishonest. It's impossible in this country. So therefore, I want you to reevaluate our network, watch it a little bit more, and then we'll talk in about a year. Last word.
The last word is, how many people are watching the Fox network at 10 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, roughly?
I don't know how many people.
Well, you should. You work for the organization.
You know, we have millions of people watching us sign off to sign on.
Yeah, but you do not have millions of people watching at 10 in the morning, or noon, or 1 in the afternoon. The millions of people are watching you, Bill.
And they're better for it.
The millions of people are watching those of you with a particular point of view. So
that's the way the country works. That's the free marketplace.
That's the free marketplace, and I'm perfectly content to leave it on that note. It's a business, and it's operating as a business. And once upon a time, you and I actually thought journalism was a calling.
But I still think that I'm doing something noble.
All right, later tonight on NBC, Mr. Koppel will be interviewing me